Hi, my name is James Nielsen. This is for FTH202. This is my week 4 assignment, and today's date is March 4th, 2025. In this assignment, I will be doing a trigger job on the Taurus 856. And let's go ahead and show clear here. As you can see, there is nothing in any of the cylinders. This firearm is clear and safe. And I'll also state that there is no live ammunition present in my workspace or on my workbench. So with that said, let's get started. All right, to start out, I'm gonna go ahead and get a trigger pull average for both double action and single action. So to do that, I'm gonna take the grip off and get it mounted up into the vise here so we can get a nice sturdy location to pull the trigger from. All right, so we have our baseline numbers to go off of. For the double action trigger pull, we have an average of 9.1 pounds. And for the single action, we have an average of 3.7 pounds. I will say this gun actually does feel pretty smooth, and the trigger pull isn't really that bad. I've seen other people online that have had much higher examples for the factory trigger weights. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and disassemble the firearm, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add layout fluid to the frame, the side plate, the cylinder stop, the hand, the hammer, and the double action sear. I'm gonna go ahead and reassemble the firearm, dry fire it a bunch of times in double action and single action, and we'll come back, polish all those parts up, and I'll show you the results. All right, I'm back. I have gone through and polished all the areas where there were high spots. I've been dry firing this revolver quite a bit since I've got it, and I could already kind of see some of the high spots before I put the dye on. But there was a little bit of a drag mark inside here on the frame, so I kind of went in there with some nice 600 grit sandpaper, gently smoothed it out, and then came back with a stone and just really gave it a nice smooth finish. As well as the side plate. There was a few drag marks on here. I tried to just kind of smooth it up as best as possible. The side plate does have those little ridges in there, so I don't want to take too much metal off, but just kind of smooth it out. The hammer, I had a few high spots here, kind of where you can kind of see like the casting marks of the hammer. So I just took the stone and just smoothed it out, and from the touch, it feels very smooth. The trigger pull on this gun was already pretty nice for a double action and for the single action, so I think this is really going to help out, just make it that little bit nicer. I didn't do a whole lot with the trigger. There wasn't a whole lot of wear points on here. As far as the sear, I kind of just gently went over it with the stone just to give it a little bit of smoothness. Same as the cylinder stop, not a whole lot of wear points. I did kind of go into the side of it here just to smooth it out, because it does kind of rotate inside the frame there on both sides. I did that, and then just gently on top of the cylinder lock where it rides across the cylinder, just to make it nice and smooth. Then lastly, the hand. We had some high spots up on the top side here. So I just kind of took the stone and smoothed it all out. Gave this edge just a nice little bit of more like a nice chamfer, just to give it a nice area to glide. And I think it's really going to improve the feel. So now I'm going to go ahead and get this all reassembled, perform a dry functions check, and then I'll be back with you guys and we'll do another trigger pull test. All right, we're all reassembled. I'll go ahead and show clear here. Nothing in the cylinder. Firearm is clear and safe. I performed a dry functions check. Everything's working as it should. Assessing how the trigger feels now after doing all the polishing. It honestly feels just about the same as it did before. Like I mentioned earlier, I've been dry firing the crap out of this thing, and I feel like the trigger pull actually felt pretty good. And with our initial trigger pull being around 9 pounds for the double action, it's actually not too bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and get her propped up here in the vise, and we'll go ahead and get a second set of trigger pull measurements. All right. about 9.5 pounds. £10. £10. So oddly, we went up there. So that'd be probably about an average of 9.7. So that is weird. We went up on the double action trigger pull. So let's go ahead and check out the single action. About 3.6 pounds. About 3.5. And about 3.6. So pretty consistent, maybe a little bit lower than what we were before, with an average of probably about 3.56. Oh, like 3.5, 3.6. So did the trigger pull improve? I would say it stayed right about the same. Like I said, I've already been dry firing the crap out of it, and I think it was mostly pretty smooth out already. What could I have done to make this more smooth? Honestly, I feel like I was pretty well set up. I had all the tools I needed. I really don't think I could have done much else to make it any smoother. I'm sure with time and more experience, I'll just get faster as I go. But as far as being smooth, I felt like everything went pretty good. So for part 3, I'm gonna go ahead and disassemble this again. I'm gonna go ahead and install our spring kit with our new mainspring and trigger spring. And I'll come back with you guys. We'll have it mounted up in the vise, and we'll go ahead and get a third set of trigger pull measurements. All right, we're back. I have the new mainspring and trigger spring installed, and we're gonna go ahead and get our third trigger pull measurement. We'll go ahead and start again with the double action. We have 7 pounds. Probably about 7.2 pounds. And 7.1 pounds. So average of 7.1 pounds. Which is pretty good for a double action trigger pull. Now let's go ahead and check out the single action. We got 2.1 pounds. $2.1. And that one was about 2.3. So average of about 2.2 pounds, which is really nice for a single action trigger pull. All right, lastly, I'm gonna go ahead, get the grip reinstalled, and then we'll go ahead and do headspace. All right, we'll go ahead and finish this video up with headspace gauges, how to properly test headspace on a revolver. So we have our go gauge and our no-go gauge. And just to show here, we still have a clear firearm, nothing in the cylinder. And to start, we'll go ahead and take our go gauge and we'll place it in our cylinder. And we'll go ahead and close it. And as you can see, it'll close on that gauge. And if we pull the trigger, it's able to ride right through there. Now we go ahead and test that on every cylinder. I'd probably take just a wax pencil, mark that cylinder so I know I've already tested it. And then we go ahead and do that for all 6. Now for the no-go, we'll do the same thing. and it should, really honestly, shouldn't even close on this, which it will not allow me to close this cylinder. So we know that this revolver is within headspace, and we are good to go. So that's all I have for you for this video, and thanks for watching.